Hello, ArchieLuxury channel. Remember, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel. And I want to talk today about my IWC. And I gotta tell you, IWC is a very flawed brand. And it's a brand that, you know, I really shied away from. I shied away from for a long time because I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I always said I never managed to buy an IWC at a great price. Okay. But I want to tell you my IWC story. And I've just put my IWC into the box here. And my IWC story starts way before this piece here. And what happened is, many years ago, 2002, I got the ask from my IT job, went and worked for a watch dealer in Bangkok. And I had watches before, but I'd sold them all off due to personal reasons. Anyhow, he gave me this IWC Ingenieur to wear. It was a IWC. It was an IWC. It was a golf club. Now, the IWC has the yacht club, which is a fairly famous Ingenieur model, but they also had the golf club. And I gotta tell you, it was a lovely piece. It had an integrated bracelet, very Gerald Gentry, very 70s sort of piece. And I really loved it. It was a great watch. It was a really nice watch. Unfortunately, he was a wheeler dealer and it didn't last long. I think it may have had a redone dial too, which was kind of a bit of a pisser on a sports watch. But anyhow, irrespective of that, that was my first taste of IWC. And I've always, you know, the brand IWC's always been an interesting mix. From an outsider, I've always felt the brand wasn't great, bang per buck. I mean, a lot of the models had ETA type movements in them, and, you know, I just didn't get this whole IWC thing. Very much, I was into Rolex, I was into Patek, I was into, you know, that sort of thing. So it was very sort of different. But later on, a good friend of mine, Scotty, he got one. This is the piece he got. And he wanted me to review it, and it was a very interesting piece. I mean, it was far too big, 42.5 mil diameter, far too fat, an integrated bracelet, which I normally don't like. I prefer, you know, a traditional type bracelet, and it wasn't really that cheap. But there's something about it I really liked. I mean, it had a finish, a level of quality to it, which was really quite spectacular. It came up for sale, and it was a reasonable price. I don't think it was a bargain, but it had an IWC service, and it had box papers, a complete combo deal set. A complete combo deal set. And I thought, you know, hey, it can let me have an IWC on the channel. And it's interesting. I was expecting the viewers to be a lot more accepting and friendly of it. There's been a lot of negative comments. Not really much niceness has been said, which is surprising me, because people have said to me, what do you think of IWC? Always IWC. It's always been a brand that kind of exists there. So, in many ways there, I've been very disappointed with the response from the viewers. I thought it would have been accepted a lot more than it has. I thought there'd be some really cool comment. Hey, love the IWC Arch, but there's been a lot of negatives that have been said there. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's my watch. What do I feel happy with? And I think for me, the Archie 5, that could be the cool way to have a collection. And I've got to be honest with you and say that, you know, I'm actually very happy with the IWC. And it's a surprising thing. This is the wonderful thing about collecting, owning watches, is you don't really know until you put the bastard on the wrist. And, you know, some surprising things is in my memory here. What watches do I really, really love? And I got to tell you, the No Date Submariner, the 14060, that's a model I love. I've owned it, I've worn it. Oh, it's always been such a cool model. The Reverso Tribute to 1931, that was such a cool piece. I love that to death. The Breguet Type 20 comes to mind. That was a great piece. And I got to tell you, a Breitling, I had a Breitling from the early noughties. It's called an Old Navy Timer 2. It had the date at the 3 position. It was on a bracelet. And I really loved that watch. That watch was really, really cool. It was a very, very cool watch. And I gotta say, you know, in all honesty, even though it uses the Valjoux, the ETA 7750 movement, I actually really liked it. It was had such a wrist presence. It was the blingy. I like the polished steel bracelet. And I got to tell you, I had a problem with the bracelet. I sent it to IWC, no charge. I sent it to Breitling. No charge. They fixed it for free, which is really pretty good. They're pretty good company. So I got to tell you, in all honesty, out of all the watches I've owned there, it's only when you put it on your wrist you can really get it. Now, the IWC tail, I got to tell you, this is completely anti-me. I mean, I've always said, IWC isn't really good value. They're pretty crappy. But now that I've got this watch, and I had the chance to buy it, it was about $3.50 US. I gotta say, I really like it. I like it. It wasn't a bargain, but it had box papers, complete box paper set with recent IWC full service. And I thought, well, pay a little bit of a premium to get an absolute perfect minter piece, full bracelet, everything there. Just do it. And I've got to be honest with you, I love the piece. I love it. I love the Guilloche dial. I love the integrated bracelet. I love the quality, just the general quality of the piece is really, really cool. I love the fact it's so fucking big and it's chunky and it is just a very, very cool piece to have. And I gotta tell you, there are many letdowns with the IWC. It pisses me off. It's using the 80110 movement, which this was IWC saying this is our in-house movement, but critics have said the 80110 movement is actually based on the base plate of the 7750. And IWC's explained it. Why reinvent the wheel? And there's been a number of what is the honest truth there. I don't know. I don't know the honest truth. I don't think, you know, it's a very tricky thing. They've come out and said it's in-house. when they've kind of said, well, we've based it on this. And I kind of thought that's it's a difficult thing to say. Is it in-house or it's not in-house? You know, you can't have it both ways. So that's a bit of a pisser. They were very expensive when these were new. These were like a $10,000 watch. And if you're getting that with a fucking ETA movement, that's a lot of coin. It's a lot of coin. And I gotta tell you, in all honesty, you know, you can get really nice Rolex product for that sort of money. And it's a big dilemma. I mean, how do you feel about it? Is it worth the bucks? And it's a big chunky piece. Interestingly enough, they've got a bigger Ingenieur they've released, the 46mm. So I kind of think this at 42.5 is kind of the sweet spot. It's got the in-house movement. Okay, it may be based on a Valjoux 7750. Okay, fair enough. Whatever that means. But I think of this as a relative bargain in the sense that the quality, it's very, very much like an AP type quality. The finish, the polish, the brush, everything about how the case is presented, the bracelet's done, is very, very much high quality. The Guilloche dial, and it's got the antique magnetic features, which are, you know, you can see the heft of this fucking thing. And it's also got the anti-glare coating, which gives the dial a blue tint to it. A blue tint to a black dial, which is really fucking cool. And I gotta tell you, you know, IWC, it's a very expensive watch when you consider it's got a movement based on an ETA. However, it's a very cheap watch when you're thinking, hang on a minute, this is AP Patek type quality. It's, well, I say AP because AP is famous for making big, you know, the Royal Oak offshore chronograph, the offshore diver. It kind of fits in with that big genre. Very high quality piece. It's maybe, it's not a expensive watch. It's a cheap. It's a it's a bargain AP quality type watch. And I gotta tell you, I've been really disappointed I haven't had more support on the channel, because I thought it's something I've never had before. I mean, I've had the odd Panerai on the channel, but I've never had an IWC in the collection. And it really is new blood. It's new blood. It's a new thing that I'm disappointed. There were so many people there saying IWC. I've always said, I hope by having this model, it highlights the fucking problems. The problems is, they're an expensive Swiss watch with, you know, what is the fucking honesty in this? Is an 80110, is that a in-house movement? Or is it based on an ETA? What the fuck is the truth? And that is a letdown. That is very much a big letdown indeed. That is a huge disappointment. Very much a disappointment. And I gotta say, you know, I was expecting fans to come out and say, oh no, Archie, I support you. Great IWC. But they haven't done that. They've been very, very critical of the choice. They've been, don't like it. They don't like it at all. So it's an interesting thing. I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. You know, it's a lot of money I've sunk into this to try and get some ratings and get the audience thinking outside the box. I mean, you guys have been saying, get something new. Always talk about the Explorer 2, Man on the Moon, the Reverso. Get something new, Archie, get something new. I get out there, break my balls, get an IWC, something completely off center, and I get criticized for it. I get absolutely slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered. And at the end of the day, what do I really think of the watch? I mean, I'm actually very much impressed by it. I think it's a great watch. It is a cool watch to have. Very cool watch to have. I'm glad to have an IWC in the collection. It is very cool. It's a very cool watch to have. Disappointed that it hasn't been accepted more. I thought it would get some really good... Oh, thank God you got something new. Thank God, but it's been very much criticized. And I wanted to present this to show you what I feel about IWC. Having owned one now that I've sort of committed to this one, what do I think of it? What do I think? And in all honesty, I actually like it. I like it a lot. It's an unusual watch. It's different. It's different. It's something very, very it's something special. It's a cool watch. It's a big I love the hands, the minute and hour hands on it. I love just how the whole thing is done. It is a very cool watch. So yeah, I'm happy to try this experiment. Very disappointed it hasn't been accepted more on the channel. I am disappointed. Anyhow, fuckers, ArchieLuxury channel. Tell me what you fuckers think of that.